Hi everyone. Thank you for meeting today to discuss Allison's functional behavioral assessment as well as her behavioral intervention plan. I'd like to introduce everybody in the room. I'm Mrs. McMahon. I am Allison's school counselor. Allison is the student we're here to meet about. And then we have Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who are the parents of Allison. We have Mrs. Grove, who is the school social worker, Mr. Moore, who is the LEA representative, Mrs. Moore, who is the general ed teacher, and we have Jessica, who is the one-on-one aide. I would like to go over the functional behavioral assessment first. But first, I'd like to let you know that if anyone in this room has any questions or concerns as I go through this, please do not hesitate to stop me. First, I'd like to go over Allison's strengths. Allison has good gross motor skills. She enjoys art and music and excels in those classes. She's very honest and direct. The operational definition of target behavior is that Allison yells at the teacher. Some of the quote yelling that we have heard is that quote, "I hate you," quote, "School is so stupid," quote, "You are the worst person," quote. When the teacher gives the class independent work to complete, the outburst has a tendency to happen. This occurs in each subject, math, English, science, and social studies, 4 times a day, with a duration of 3 to 5 minutes. Allison does this to the extent that she gets the teacher's attention, and the duration ends when the teacher comes to her desk and gives her the one-on-one attention. The setting that this typically happens is when independent academic work is presented. The antecedent is when independent work that is new or challenging is given to Allison from her teacher that include written directions, and she looks at the assignment in class. Consequences that Allison's looking for is for the teacher to pay attention to her. The environmental variables that we are looking at right now is the idea that her work is expected to be done independently. Another is that there is not having a one-to-one ratio with the teacher. The social factors that are affected is that the outbursts have a tendency to happen when more than one peer is present in the classroom when the assignment is given. The hypothesis of the behavioral function is that Allison yells at the teacher when the teacher gives the class independent work to complete. This occurs in each subject, math, English, social studies, and science. 4 times a day, 3 to 5 minutes. Allison does this to the extent that she gets the teacher's attention in order to get the teacher to pay attention to Allison. Right now, we're looking at this as more of a performance deficit. Reason being is that Allison can definitely improve this behavior, and this is why we're here today. We want to look at the summary of previous interventions that have been attempted. The Tier 1 intervention that was included was a school-wide behavior screening. In the school-wide behavior screening, Allison was a part of this. In that, it was found that her social and emotional needs were not met. So she was a part of a behavior counts program that helped reward all students for positive behavior school-wide. The Tier 2 intervention included a program called Why Try. In this program, it resulted in a 22% improvement, but the goal was to have a 65% improvement. I have here on the table the Ames Web Action Plan report and the progress management paperwork as well for anyone to look at. Right now, the replacement behaviors that we're looking for in the classroom is that Allison will take 5 minutes to look over her assignment before asking help, as well as Allison raising her hand when she is frustrated when an assignment is given to her and waiting to ask for help once the teacher comes up to her. Now we want to take a look at how to change the environment. Allison can get a one-on-one aide to help with challenging her new independent work in the 4 subject areas in a separate room with a limited class size to work under the threshold of her tolerance. The instruction and her curriculum will be that Allison will be taught to recognize when she wants the teacher's attention and pair it with raising her hand. We're going to have a couple positive supports added as well. First being that Allison will work with her one-on-one aide Jessica in the class to get help with challenging and/or new independent work. Also, Allison will work with the school social worker, Miss Grove, once a week to learn different techniques on how to handle frustration to aid in replacing her yelling at the teacher with teaching replacement behaviors that are more positive until she has met her functional behavioral assessment goal. So Mrs. Grove will be teaching her and practicing with her to go over raising her hand and waiting the 5 minutes in her once a week meeting. The motivators and rewards that we are looking to enforce and help with the behavior is that since Allison gets upset 4 times a day during each subject, the day is going to be broken into 4 different parts. For each area of subject that Allison follows the plan without having the target behavior, right after that subject has been completed, the teacher will give 5 minutes of teacher time. After 3 weeks of consistently not yelling at the teacher, looking at the assignment for 5 minutes before asking for help, and working with a one-on-one aide, she will be given 1 hour of teacher time. If Allison yells at the teacher when given an assignment more than 4 times a day, we're going to have a restrictive disciplinary measure, which is going to be that all attention will be taken away and she'll be put in isolation for 20 minutes. This only occurs if the assignment that is given results in the behavior more than 4 times a day. The crisis plan is going to be that if Allison becomes an imminent threat to herself or others, she will be removed from the class and CPI techniques will be used. Our data collection and procedures and methods will now be discussed. Allison's target behavior and use of replacement behaviors will be recorded by her teacher, Mrs. Moore, on a daily basis, and a weekly report will then be given to Mrs. Grove, who is the school social worker, in one report. Allison will also have a sheet where she gets to track her behavior and see her own improvement. If Allison reduces her behavior to 1 subject a day where episodes of yelling at the teacher are less than 1 minute for at least 6 weeks, we will consider this plan to be successful. This plan will be given to her parents through email once a week. This concludes Allison's functional behavioral assessment. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we will email, and if you'd like a phone call at the end of the week to let you know that it's been sent to you, we'll go ahead and send it as well. Any other questions? Thank you for attending, and I'm looking forward to our meeting in 3 weeks.